Brentocast 9, I believe, and we're back. Another week has gone by, and as always, plenty of activities. This week, the big items, apart from the normal, which would be taking Delilah to the park, got quite a bit of footage of that posted up on the weekly vlog for August 22nd at BrentBowers.com. Apart from that, got it together with, had another studio date on the V-Hill project, doing more guide tracks and prepping for the V-Hill brothers to come in starting on this coming Sunday, that following Tuesday and Wednesday. That will be our actual recording days with them. And then, of course, we'll be doing more after the fact with them. But at least once we have their voices, all the arrangements and everything are nailed down. And that's a big part of the work we've been doing now, is sort of making last-minute tweaks they wanted to arrangements, tempos, and whatnot. But this week we also got to check out a new drummer here in the studio, Secret Studios, and did have a chance to do a little bit of moving things around and getting the studio back into shape. But it was kind of a brutal series of days in that Nancy, for whatever reason, had a bunch of clients an hour before opening, so I ended up having to get up around 6 for 3 or 4 days in a row. One of those days like 4 o'clock. So I think I had like a running sleep deprivation going on. As did Delilah, which we kept her Saturday, Saturday, and most of Sunday I did keep her. And Nancy decided to excuse herself to go off to a training course, so that wasn't great for me because it just put a little bit of extra pressure. And on top of that, Delilah wasn't feeling the greatest, I think. When she gets tired, that's really the only time she's anything but perfect. And I was telling her mother, I was like, hey, she really got me this weekend. She beat me up. She pulled my beard a couple times. She kicked me in the face as we were wrestling, and then she also kneed me in the ear really hard on one occasion. And I always pride myself in never being anything but just like what my heart feels with her, which is just, pleasant and supportive and positive. But that actually did make me react a little bit in just a moment's time, and it hurt my ear. So I was like, ouch, and then yesterday finally got together with the group, and as I'm putting this old rug out of the way, I knocked over one of my floor lamps. Just the weight of the rug hitting the edge of this big ornate glass structure at the top broke it. I don't think the actual bulb broke, but just the glass thing around it broke, and it just fell and shattered. And like, I have yet to move stuff around and go clean that up because I'm really not looking forward to it. But I wanted to end the weekend on a high note, which we did, because the drummer we tried out was excellent. He could certainly be the drummer going forward. I don't know that he was as sold on us, so it remains to be seen. And then we have another local drummer that is super. He has totally the right kind of personality and attitude to play with us, and I think he is likely to end up being, what can I say, like the guy. We'll see. It remains to be seen. You can't take people at face value. It's like show and prove nowadays. A lot of people come in and say a lot of things, as far as wanting to play music, but when they realize it's original music, or that we're not really doing it to make money, it's just to have a great time and share our love for music. And sometimes that people say, oh yeah, I love that, and then when there's another band out there they can go play in and be in a cover band, make $100 every time they play. Sometimes money wins out, and that's okay. I don't fault anybody for that, because motivations are different. Not everybody writes. If you write music like Harrison and I, particularly the rate which we write it, the big thrill is sharing it, But that said, everything went great on Sunday. I was kind of emotionally and physically drained for lack of sleep, I think. So the last couple of hours I tried to finish up watching this film. I don't even remember the name of it. I think it's a German film where a lady that has been infected with vampirism tries to disguise herself and fly to the States with her son, and it all goes horribly wrong because somebody tries to hijack that flight. But I digress. Couldn't really get into it. Started watching Sandman and ended up not even finishing the first episode in favor of YouTube videos, which were mostly about the new She-Hulk series being absolutely cringe and horrible, but I could have told you that without looking. because the teasers gave away that that's a man-hating show, and I'll have no part of it. But moving right along, I read a cool quote on one of the dad's forums where people were talking about Anne Heche passing away, and I think someone tried to slip in a little critique, and one of the admins posted, basically, I forget the exact Latin, but it translated to only speak good of the dead. And I thought those are wise words, for many reasons, because you really want to polarize people, try to criticize somebody who's passed away. I mean, because obviously emotions run raw, and I think there's plenty of critique to give, but why? What's the point of that, right? Like, it's just especially with a celebrity, you're just like kind of guessing. You don't really know that person. You don't know their story. Obviously something went off the rails at some point, but who are we to judge, right? Like, you don't know. So that's been kind of carrying on. And I guess for about a week after Olivia Newton-John passing away, I've been following a Dutch fan page, and posting, they post all these pictures and stuff. And I unfollowed that this morning, and I'm like, yes, it sucks, but I mean, I've given it its 2 minutes, so to speak, and it's like time to move on. You can't dwell in it. Her work will speak for itself for a very, very long time, long as those of us that are alive now that were, aware of her when she was alive, at least. So she's probably got another 30, 40 years in the, mainstay popular consciousness, But not that matters. This week I anticipate being very, very busy. Actually, tonight, Nancy and I start the training class for personal trainer, ACE personal trainer certification. So that's going to be hopefully a boon in trying to get us in shape. We've been on the straight and narrow for a while. Not to say that we haven't had any cheat meals, we have, but we generally have been eating well. Like I said, I've lost a shirt size and a pant size, so that's good. I don't really worry about my actual pounds, although a really goal at the front of my mind is to be below 300 pounds by the end of the year, which is the same goal as it was last year. But really, I'm going to focus on just the lifestyle change aspect and not eating bread and generally avoiding sugar and things like that, drinking a lot of water, some specific kinds of water. So that's been going well, and I think starting this class, and I do have a number of trainer sessions at Gold's Gym left, and the trainer that I was working with left there. So I'll either do those trainer sessions, or I'll see about maybe putting those on to my next year's, membership or what have you, if they'll let me do that. But I anticipate that I'll get back into working out while I'm doing this class, because I want to make the most of it. It's a 2-month class, I think, 2 nights a week. A bit of it is online, but at a certain point, I think there's an in-person class. And actually, lucky for us, that class is going to be at the Y, so it's not having to drive all the way out to Stanley Community College. Not that that's too far, it's not. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how that goes. And I think a lot of the idea that Nancy's doing it with me, of course, I like that. It helps us stick to the diet together and hopefully be accountable on exercise as well. Although many years ago, she got into working out with a lady, and they were religious about it for a while, and it's like that 5-month or 3-month period or whatever it was is the only time, in our 27-year marriage that she's worked out consistently. And I'd love to see her getting back to at least the walking or some sort of, physical working out. But of course, she's got a lot of hours in the store, and standing up is a workout of sorts, but it's not really a cardiovascular workout. And so you may be tired, but you're not getting that cardiovascular exercise that you really need. So that can be, not the greatest for you to think, oh, well, I've got my workout in. Although conversely, when I was doing the bread route, I certainly wasn't going to go to the gym after that. I felt like I had my workout in, and I don't know about the cardio, but the lifting stuff, yeah, for sure. So back to the podcast. I think I may have found the ideal host. It has an app, which I want to try, and I want to see if I can start taking the Brentocast on the road a little bit. If I can get a good enough quality, well, I know I can get a good enough quality. It's just, do I have to carry a Zoom recorder, or can I do it on my phone? So they have a phone app, and I thought if I got the right kind of old style wired earbuds with a little adapter and the microphone and the earpiece, I might be able to do some of these remote, which will make them a little bit easier. And again, it's a cathartic thing for me. I'm just, if Summer or Nancy or Delilah or somebody wants to look back in the family and see what I was doing on a given date or where my head was at, this will be there for a number of years. I try to host this site like on a, the site hosting and the domains and stuff. I try to do it on multi-year basis, and I'd like to try. Soon I'll start doing that 10 years at a time, I guess is what I'm trying to say, so that when I'm gone, this won't be gone immediately. And there's a ton of content out there. I've been putting content on this website for 16, 17 years now, and it's the same install, just different themes. So the same install of WordPress, and that archive will be there, and if they want to check it out, cool. If not, no worries. It was cathartic for me to put my thoughts down. And I do have my iTunes set up so that I'm using a cool podcast plugin, which does publish the podcast to my iTunes, just not out to the rest of the world. So it's going to be on my phone and my iTunes on my desktop. But having it on Spreaker, Spreaker, Spreaker.com. That'll be great because it'll be, it will propagate it. And I don't know that anybody wants to listen to this, but if they want to, they can. And for me, it's just practice really for putting together the VHS Graveyard podcast, which is a multi-year project. I do still have the domain, and I'm working on getting that active where I can point just to have a basic website, and probably do it on WordPress, and I might even publish the little pictures and stuff for each of these that I do. Then the actual podcast would be on Spreaker, but my support stuff would be on my page where I could put additional images or share little additional clips if I wanted to. I always thought I wanted to do that with Brento's Budget Filmmaking Podcast, which, by the way, is still on iTunes if you want to check it out. Now, that one I did host myself, and somehow it's still on iTunes, so I don't really know. I wish I could emulate that, and do another podcast, but when I tried, it just didn't work the same way. So I tried to talk to them about it, the host, and they didn't really have an answer. They have sunsetted that plugin with their built-in tools, so now I'd have to figure out what it is, go out, reinstall it, and just a lot of mess. I don't know that I've completely given that up. I may try it again, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But still, about the VHS project, I just think that I'm going to do it a little differently than I originally thought I would. Harrison doesn't have the time to really be a co-host to that because he has his own shows and his own channel and many, many projects apart from just playing music with me. And I kind of realized that, and I sort of talked to him about it, and I think we were of the same mind that he didn't have the time to do it as a full-time thing. So, meaning every month, every week, whatever the schedule is. So I think I'll just have him as a guest co-host at times if he wants to on a given movie. And then that'll let me kind of lock into when I'm able to do it and the odd times that I find myself with downtime, which is typically on Wednesdays. I don't have Delilah that day, and I'm off, so it allows me to take care of honeydews and little things like this. Then I'll be able to go ahead and move forward with it. And my plan in general is to have some basic branded merchandise and have a some sort of I don't know if I'll go with the Patreon because I don't generally agree with a lot of stuff on that platform, but something like that where just you give X amount every time there's an episode, $1, 50 cents, whatever their limit is. And really I'm just looking to generate that $100 a year that it costs to publish it out there, and the rest of it is on me, the microphones and the cameras and the lights and all that. And I do want to kind of work out a specific set. Part of what's holding me back on that is the fact that my son Liam is still up into the space until he sort of gets the house he's inheriting. Once he gets in that, I'm absolutely banning him from the upstairs. And because it always comes down to an argument. In his mind, he sees my creative endeavors as just nothing. And he, like last week, decided to put his computer over there right in the middle of my studio and sort of move all my stuff. And I'm like, dude, this end of the building is dedicated to that. I have to move you. And then we got this little tiff, and then he goes home and moves the TV, which I bought, in the living room into his bedroom, things like this. It's just like at 22, you sort of expect a maturity level, and I think just because he's working in his own little world here, his own little bubble, where we basically give him a job, apart from just a few little things he's done for other people, he hasn't really seen what it's like in the real world. And I think a lot of kids have that problem. So it's pretty painful to me to have to go through his growing pains, if you know what I mean. So have not enjoyed that, but I'm hopeful that we're going to resolve that really soon in a manner that helps us all. Like he's got a nice vehicle now because we've co-signed for him, and we're providing him with a job, and just eventually he's been a bit sheltered. I mean, what can I tell you? That's what homeschool does, and he's slowly but surely getting out there, and I just wish the best for him, but he can't hear the good advice from me, I guess is what I'm saying. And I bet it's that way with a lot of fathers and sons. He can't hear it from me. I had no problem hearing it from my dad because I respected my dad, whereas Liam has been allowed to just have an easier time of it, and he hasn't had to work hard, frankly, and so he doesn't have the respect for me that he should at all. But maybe someday he will. Hopefully he will. So I'm still ripping the VHS, and it occurs to me that as part of the VHS broadcast, VHS Graveyard podcast and website, I should come up with a methodology whereby I use like an app called iCollect to categorize and, put all of my tapes, scan the barcode, put them into a database. But I think I need to make a custom, Excel spreadsheet to start keeping up with these, and because I can put more information there, condition of the slipcase, for example. And I'm probably more than 50 tapes, less than 100 tapes into this project now, where I'm actually ripping the VHS to a digital format, and I'm putting that up to a privatized YouTube channel. Of course, it gets copyright claimed immediately, but it's not a copyright strike, and I can still watch it. No one else can. But the point is, uploading it to YouTube compresses it. And because we're going from 3.5 gigabytes from the average rip of a VHS down to something like 300 megabytes, so gigabytes to megabytes. And it looks just the same. It looks exactly the same because these are all low resolutions, right? 4:3 aspect ratio, and just not giant file sizes. And I'm trying to get it down to that refined file size. Well, as I put these up on that YouTube channel, eventually I'll re-download them, and they'll be like, just a couple hundred megabytes as opposed to the 3.5 gigs or whatever every time. And I can archive those on a big jump drive or a hard drive somewhere, and another cloud-based storage system, whatever. And the point is, I'll have them. I for sure have VHS tapes that you cannot get on DVD, on Blu-ray, anywhere. I for sure have content like that, and I think that's part of my obsession. I do enjoy looking at the slip cases, but I was kind of sitting back and regarding the whole space. So at this point, like I've been buying a few more series that made sense to me to get on VHS, like for example the Death Wish movies. And I can see a time that maybe I'll be willing to let go of the VHS, and if I could get them all archived. Ultimately, my wife doesn't love looking up at this wall and seeing it covered with VHSs and this homemade rack system that I've got. And while I think it looks cool, I understand her not thinking it looks cool, and just being the mensch that I am, I don't want to always impose this on her. And there may come a time where we have more of a family space up here above the store, and I could imagine getting rid of these someday, but I would never be able to do that if I didn't know for sure that I had archived every single one so that I could always view them, however, digitally. And another thing is like the VHS player technology. Now there's one company in the world that makes a VHS player, and it costs like $250. So that's a lot. So that's the game plan. Archive them. Might take me a couple years, and that's okay. I figure 3 to 5 years, if I'm consistent about ripping some of these every day, I can get through the 7 or 800 actual VHS tapes I have right now. I can get through those, have a nice archive, have a website, and meanwhile I'll be spinning off the VHS graveyard on the really special tapes. The podcast would cover just the really special tapes that I think maybe people would want to see, and a lot of people maybe haven't. So that's the game plan for the VHS graveyard, and got to get that branded shirt. I want to have a branded shirt at launch that looks really cool. I found a guy on Fiverr. I really like his art, so I think I'm going to have him do it, and probably get those at fastcustomtshirts.com, so they can be made on demand. I won't have to spring out for a bunch of money up front. But these are things that I carry with me as we go into this week of activity on the V-Hill project, which I mentioned starts on Sunday. And then the very weekend after that, I'll be gone to the beach to celebrate Nancy's birthday, her 53rd birthday, by the way, and spend time with her, Summer, and Delilah. Take Delilah to the little carnivals down there. It's going to be a blast. She's just so wide open right now. Since she's turned 3, she's really like, her vocabulary and her ability to talk clearly and just express herself is so much greater. So we've been having a great time with her, and I'm looking forward to her being at the beach when she can express herself more. I did get one of those harnesses because she really scared me last time running around the water, so she'll be backpack strapped up to me, and I'll be less worried. I think I'm going to even get one of those extendable, like, little cables that you have for a dog leash that expand way out to like 20 feet, and maybe latch that when she's at the beach or whatever. But anyway, should be great. Looking forward to another exciting week of activity, and hope you guys have a great one. We have run a little bit long today. It's my first time breaching the 20-minute mark, but had a lot to say today. Hope you guys have a great week. Drive on. See you next time.